Make sense, bro. My new intro, bro.
Oh, wow.
How's that, bro? Wow.
What's
bro?
up?
Welcome back.
Yeah, man.
Guy, welcome back from
Yeah.
from Nepal. And also, welcome back to my podcast.
Yes.
And you're the first ever comeback guest here in this podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Not because I'm running out of guests, but I just have no choice at all. You know.
I think I paid you.
In fact, he texted me and wants to come back. I was like, bro, you
Yes.
done it already. But he was like kind of insisting.
Yes.
Yeah, and also the original guest for this topic got sick, and I texted my friends, and they cannot come today, so I had no choice but
I
to
am the
go
plan
for
B.
you.
I'm the plan B.
Exactly. So
Okay.
exactly. So again, I'm not running out of guests, you know. Yeah, I just had no choice, guys.
I'll take it. I'll take it. All day, every day.
Exactly. I know. And also, guys, I'm really proud of this guy because he's the first Filipino that survived a Yeti attack. Woo!
Yes.
Bro, is that true? Like in Nepal?
Yeah, and
the
he
Yeti.
is the first Yeti that became a Filipino.
So Yeti is a monster. It's like mythical monster in Nepal.
Yes, it's
right?
a mythical creature that
Yes.
lives in the mountains.
Yeah, is it true? Like you showed the skull.
They
and
believe it, yeah.
Yo.
But the white people were saying, oh, it's just the head of a cow.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if I don't know. I've never been to Nepal, but I've heard a lot of stories about Yeti. So
Yeti, yes.
I don't know. Like, do you believe it now, or is it,
I don't. I
yeah,
honestly
think so.
don't. But they said that it's like, for us, it's like the capre or the
Exactly.
tikbalang.
Oh, sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Very superstitious people believe it, but honestly, you can't prove. If science can't prove it,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, it's supposed to be a giant. But if no
Yeah.
one has seen it or photographed it, you
There
know.
should be like fossils right now,
Yeah, yeah.
and a lot of
You know why
evidences.
they can't photograph the Yeti? Because the Yeti is the photographer.
You know, I'm happy to bring back the hammer, bro. It's been how many episodes? Like it's been like 20 episodes since I last used the
Remember
hammer.
last time I was here, I brought you the Boston Celtics cap?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
Look what I got.
oh,
Look what I got.
Everest
Look what I said.
bungee.
Yeah, man.
Wow,
Everest
bro.
bungee.
Oh my god.
Yes.
I mean, see, guys. See, so for today's topic is about extraordinary travel stories.
Yes.
Which this guy is a lot. There's a lot of incredible travel stories from this guy. And he just came from Nepal, which for sure that there will be a lot of fresh and exciting stories from that trip.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's good to start from that trip, right?
Yeah, man. I think
Yeah.
it's my toughest trip
really?
yet. Yes.
my-
Physically, it was demanding. Mentally as well, because I was alone. I was alone I'm not part of a group. I have a guide with me.
Okay.
And then I also have a porter, you know, which they are the real heroes because they were just guiding me.
Okay, let me just pause, bro. I'm just curious because you have a different microphone than
man.
me.
This is
man,
a
that's
sexy,
white, sexy white, bro.
Yeah, this is a sexy mic.
I call it cool white, bro.
Cool white.
Cool white. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Because this is my branding now.
Oh, really?
Whenever I go, you know,
exactly.
it's the mic that you're using is so common. It's everywhere. It's
everywhere,
like
all-
generic.
it's like the kind of standard microphone for
Yes,
podcasting,
exactly,
and I kind of
yeah.
became fell a victim of it. You know.
Yeah, because it's the standard. There's a
Exactly.
reason, but
there's a reason. Yes.
But it's so common, you know.
True.
It's like mutton biryani,
yeah, true.
but this is a little bit caviar. You know what I'm
this
saying?
is the
It's quite unique.
white biryani.
Yeah,
White biryani. Yeah.
Hyderabadi.
Yeah, and the sound sounds great.
Yeah, it does. It's a Universal Audio SD1. I think it really sounds great.
And it's very comparable to the top of the line podcast microphones out there.
Of course,
You
yes,
know?
yes.
Yeah.
I'm very confident in bringing this and going head to head with whatever mic you're using, you know. And but what I really like is the identity that it gives you. You know, you always see the black mics.
Yeah,
Why
yeah, right.
would you always go for the crowd? No offense,
Yeah,
bro, but
yeah,
I'm just saying,
I mean.
you know, I'm having a white one. I look pretty poggy, you know.
Hence why I have white hair.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
To stand out.
Yeah,
So-
to stand out.
Yeah, I mean,
can I see my? Oh, look at that.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Look at this. Look
Oh,
at this mic.
yeah,
Really
yeah.
nice. Yeah, let's just do it this way. See?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Bro, next episode I want to have this microphone. So yeah, I mean I'm now considering
Using this,
getting
right?
One. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
it needs to match the hair.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, so let's go back to your travel stories, right?
Yes.
Amazing travel stories. Okay, so where should we start? Should we start with Nepal? Yeah, I think since we're
I think Nepal because it's very fresh.
Okay.
It's very fresh.
and there's more, right? So it's not just Nepal for sure.
Oh,
There's more.
How
right?
many hours do we have?
I have at least 6 hours in this camera.
That's all I need.
Exactly.
Yeah.
6 hours is enough.
Yes,
right?
six
Yeah.
hours is all I need. I'll take that. I'll take the 6 hours. Yeah.
Okay, guys. Again, we're going to talk about extraordinary travel stories. It's not just typical travel stories,
No.
but extraordinary.
Yes, most
Right?
people will find unique.
True.
Most people will find it interesting as well. And maybe some of you guys that are listening here will say, that's not for me. You know?
Yeah.
Like this recent trip to Nepal, where it's a 12-day trek.
Man.
12-day trek across the mountains
Oh my God.
to Everest Base Camp.
And it's not even
It's not even the summit.
the summit. It's
Yeah,
just the
yeah.
base camp, bro.
It's just the base
So you
camp.
need 12 days just to reach the base camp.
You need 8 days to reach there, and then the remaining like 3, 4
Okay.
on the way to head down.
No way.
Yeah, but that's not where the story starts.
Okay,
The story doesn't start at trekking.
Okay.
The story starts when you land in Kathmandu from Dubai,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to fly to the start of the trek, which is Lukla Airport.
Okay. As you said, the most dangerous airport.
It's the
in the world.
most dangerous airport in the world. Even if you Google it right now, it's
Okay.
like the consensus. It's the most dangerous airport in the world. Yeah.
Alexa, what is the most dangerous airport in the world?
I don't know that one.
Sorry, I got the dumb version, bro.
You're not paying here.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos, sorry, man. Your AI assistant is dumb, bro.
Alexa, your visa is cancelled.
Anyway, so yeah, why is it the most dangerous airport in the world?
It's the most dangerous airport in the world because the runway is kind of short, right? Where one side is the cliff and one side is a wall of a mountain. So if you land, you don't land well, you might end up hitting the wall. And if you take off, and you don't gather enough, speed, then you might fall off the cliff. But not only that, the route in between, you're literally flying within the mountains. You're not above the mountains, you're within the same height as the mountains. And so you're prone to weather conditions. If it's too windy, and of course, you're talking about mountains, so you have to have visibility, 100% visibility. And that's, those are what makes the Lukla Airport the most dangerous airport in the world. The plane is only 16-seater. It's like you're riding you're literally in a bus. And that's the whole experience. That's the start of your
Bro,
experience.
literally you just need one bad day to
You
go out
just-
this world, bro.
Yeah.
Just one extra sugar on the pilot's coffee, and then you're done, bro.
Just,
oh my God,
just
man.
one extra shot of rum. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't think I can fly in this kind of plane.
It was it was smooth. It doesn't feel scary at all. It's just that, given the conditions, that's why it's got its
Is it
name.
the same planes? You've been to Africa, right?
I have, but I didn't ride a plane in Africa.
Okay, because to go to I went to Tanzania. I went to Serengeti. To go to Serengeti, we had to fly this. I don't know. I think they're called
A
these
Cessna or
small planes.
a small plane. Yeah.
Is it the same planes?
Yeah,
Or-
but 16 seaters. Like
yeah,
this?
even less, I think.
Oh,
Even less.
well-
But it's more of a private, plane.
Okay.
And they don't have this small runway because Africa is huge, so they have the huge runway. So I don't think it's dangerous in that sense.
In that sense, yeah.
But yeah, it's small. It's less than 16 for sure.
Yeah, it's the one that I rode was a 16-seater,
Yeah.
and there's like 3 airlines that are going through it. So
But are they conditioned, bro? This place conditioned.
I survived. No, the pilots
Okay.
are really great. Shout out to
Okay,
the Nepali pilots at
Got it.
Kathmandu and Lukla. They're very professional, very skilled.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So how? Okay. After the plane, bro. Like what was it?
Yeah, Lukla is from there. Your journey starts. You are at 2,600 elevation, right? And then you're gonna get into the trekking part slowly. You're gonna walk maybe for 2 to 3 hours to a small village called Fakding. No, I shit you not. That's the name.
Fakding.
Yeah, Fakding. Yeah, like that. And then you get to stay in tea houses. Tea houses where you start, getting to know the Nepali cuisine.
So
you know,
there's
the
no
mountains.
proper hotels or proper accommodation. It's tea house.
It's
right?
tea houses. Yeah, that's the
houses.
standards.
Okay.
Tea houses where sometimes you get, well, at the lower levels, when you start, you get your own, you could choose like a room with a toilet.
I think I've seen one of your stories with your room.
Yeah, it's a privilege. And sometimes you get heated showers, you know. But you've got to be, when you go there, you have to remove any of your routine.
Okay, yeah.
I imagine I was showering once every 5 days. Just because it was so cold and the availability of hot showers not as common. And I think I only had 2 sets of underwear.
Bro, we've all been there, bro.
Yeah, 2 sets of underwear. The first underwear I replaced before I headed to the base camp. So
my God.
so I said, "Oh, I'll see Everest tomorrow. I should change my underwear."
So there's side A, there's side B, side
No,
C,
well-
side D.
No, well, the underwear, the material is called merino wool. Okay, it's really for outdoors. And
Don't try to
I-
justify it.
It doesn't smell. I swear.
Okay.
So when you it traps bacteria, it traps the scent, so it doesn't stink. So that's what I use for my underwear, my base
you
layer,
wearing
and
it
my
right now?
socks. Not now. But it's really nice, comfortable. Yeah, I
Oh my
swear.
God, yeah.
Quite expensive. That's why I only had 2. Plus, you don't want to overpack. You know. I think I got one here, 180 dirhams.
Yeah.
Imagine an underwear for 180 dirhams. It better last 8 days, motherfucker. You know? It better last 8 days. Yeah, exactly. So after that, fakding, and then fakding, yes. And then what you're gonna do is from
I wonder how they come up with this with their name.
you know.
Oh fuck! Ding!
Ding! Something like that. You know.
Okay.
And then after that, you go to the official or unofficial center, unofficial town of Namche Bazaar. Namche Bazaar is, I think, at around 3,800, but it's quite a bigger village and it's a party place.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a party place. But don't make the mistake of partying on your way to Everest Base Camp. You can party when you get back because you'll get back the same way.
Okay.
Because remember that your body is getting used to the environment. Okay. You know, people are very prone to altitude sickness, very prone to dehydration, very prone to injury. So that's why you have to be very careful as you.
Let me just stop you. Can you just say prone again?
What?
Prone. Can you just say prone again? No, I like the plosive control of this microphone.
Oh,
See?
wow. We're doing a
prone.
review, huh?
Prone. See the plosives. Prone. For you?
Prone.
See, better, bro. Oh my God.
Exactly.
Yeah, see it. Now we're comparing along.
SD1, yeah?
Exactly, SD1. Okay. Go on.
Yeah. So that's the story. And then you go from village to village. And sometimes, imagine this, for 3 hours straight, you're doing nothing but climb. Like the elevation, you're gaining yeah.
Just elevation.
Just
after elevation.
gaining elevation. So it gets really tiring, but you have the view. The view is amazing. And then sometimes you go up, and then when you reach the peak, you think, at least now we get to relax. We're near the end. And then you go down again. So why are we going down? We just spent a whole lot of time going up. And then when you head down, maybe this is the spot. No, you head up again. So it's a lot of false hopes as you trek. But what you love is that you're spending it all outdoors. Views are amazing, man. You saw my photos, right? You saw my photos.
I saw them, man.
The Instagram shots that I posted, man, it was just with an iPhone, but the visibility was great. It's really beautiful. Yeah, it's really.
Bro,
beautiful.
you're competing with my travel pictures, bro. My travel back selfies, bro.
Not really. No, mine is just accidental, beautiful shots.
But
Yours
credit
are
to your
well thought
Sherpa.
out.
Credit to your Sherpa
credit
for
to the Sherpa.
taking the pictures. Right?
Yeah. He knows. Yeah. I think it's the first time he went with a content creator. He's
No
so
way.
happy. Yeah. Because now I know this place. Can you take a photo of me? So I was taking photos of him. He was taking photos of me. And then we fell in love. No, I'm kidding. We're not.
Bro, the same with my travel guide in Kazakhstan. Like when I went there, he wasn't even taking reels or
Really?
So he's not even doing anything in social media. But
Right.
after I visit Kazakhstan, now bro, he's flying drone and
Wow.
he's doing reels. Now he just had the 50,000 views on his Instagram.
He learned a lot from you.
He learned a lot from his. Yes,
Yeah.
I managed to inspire him to create content, and now he's doing crazy stuff, and now he's doing also vlogging. Like he's talking with his guest, and the flying drones, crazy, bro, crazy.
Yeah, I think that's an edge. If you know how to create content and you're a tour guide,
Yeah, exactly.
it's gonna bring you
I
business.
hope that the Sherpa would be inspired by maybe also try to create content.
He has a good following. He has a good
Okay,
following.
that's good. That's good. Yeah.
I think he has over 50,000 on Facebook, and he regularly posts there.
Okay. So, what else are the struggles going up to the base camp?
The struggles is you've got to mind your body. You have to be so I did a lot of training. I think I've been training for 6 months
Yeah,
before
I
I
saw your
went.
stories, like your stair.
I really was doing the stairs. I was doing 200 floors, and then I was doing down. From our office, which is 36th floor.
Wow.
I take the stairs to get to the ground floor.
How long did you train for this?
I think that one I trained for maybe a month. But keep in mind, bro, my lifestyle is recently, at least, when I decided that I wanted to go to Everest Base Camp before I turned 40, I wanted to be fit enough so that, you have to respect the mountains. You can't half-ass it. You can't just go there and pretend like you're just going on a normal tour. It will kill you. The Himalayas doesn't care, if you have money or not. The question is, did you respect it enough that you trained yourself, you prepared your body so that you could go there and experience the beauty? You have to deserve a spot there. And so you see a lot of people. There are a lot of people that are going back. As we are going up, I try to speak to the people that are, already on the way back to the airport.
Wow.
And so I say, hey, congratulations. How was it? And they say, we didn't reach.
Oh.
What happened? Headache, altitude sickness, all of these things.
Yeah.
Injury. We saw a guy
wow.
as we were ascending. We saw a guy on the ground and being attended to by 4 people. And then later on, we saw military coming down to collect the person. It's not easy, and the difficulty depends on how well you prepared yourself.
Okay.
Right. And so my concern was, I know physically I probably am a little bit healthy, but my concern was altitude sickness. Okay. Altitude sickness is another problem that you have to face. Remember, you're from here in Dubai, and then you're gonna go to Lukla, which is 2,000 meters, and the highest point that you can ever get is a peak called Kalapatar. Kalapatar is at 5,600 meters, above sea level. And you have to think, at each level, when you climb from 2,000 to 3,000, 3,000 to 4,000, the oxygen changes. The blood oxygen in your body changes. You have to acclimatize. Your body needs to get used to it. At some point, my blood oxygen was a COVID level 77%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. And then imagine I was just from my room. I was going to the toilet and I was recording it on my Insta 360, Insta 3. And you could hear, because you are really trying to get as much oxygen as you can in that thinning area. At 4,000 meters, there are no more trees. So you only see small shrubs.
Okay.
So there are no more trees, which means there's less oxygen. There's less shade, so you're more exposed to the sun. And that is something that I learned when I went there. So we're now approaching 4,000. What do you notice? The guide said. Nothing. The view's nice. And then he says, no, there's no more trees. Because the trees do not grow at that level. And then because of that, also you have to think about the diet. You have to be able to get used to whatever food's available. Because especially if you go high up, you can't find good quality meat anymore.
So you're saying that you didn't pack your food along the way?
No, you stay in tea houses, and in tea houses, you just...
Is it because of the weight?
The weight, and also you could bring stuff. You could bring your power bars and stuff, but you also need solid nutrition, like fresh food, right? So freshly cooked food.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of carbs available, a lot of rice, and then there's this dal, and they call it dal bat. And my guide eats it twice a day.
Really?
Yeah, it's rice with a little bit of spinach, and dal, which is munggo.
I think Rahul,
Rahul will know that.
Can relate to
Yeah,
this.
yeah. And then it says, they call it Dalbat Power 24 hours. Why do you need Dalbat? Well, Dalbat Power 24 hour because they're carrying all of these stuff and they're walking all day.
Insane, man.
Yeah.
See, I like what you said. Well, I want to go back to what you said about the respect is not only for the once you're in the mountains, right? It should be from the training itself.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
You know, I really like that. And can you say that you did enough training? Like is that 1 month enough for this adventure? For
Well,
this trip?
I think 1 month because I've been for years. I've been consistently trying to
Okay,
train. I was running 5 kilometers 4 times a week.
Okay.
I was doing strength training too, just so that I would have the best time available. And I know my body.
Yeah.
You know, when you measure your body, you know when it's tired. You know when you need to slow down because you deal with it so much. A lot of times on our day-to-day, we neglect our body, right?
Yeah,
We neglect what we feel. But when you do workouts, you monitor your heart rate,
Got it.
you monitor your strength and so on. And so when you're there, you're trying to familiarize yourself. Okay, my body needs to slow down a little bit this time. Oh, I think I can go for another hour or two
Yeah.
and so on.
Yeah.
It literally happened where for the first time, you know me, I have so much energy.
Yeah.
When I went there, I just had like zero energy at some point because I was hiking for maybe 6 hours at that point. The guide was saying though that, you know, at this stage, people just don't talk.
Yeah.
They're just, they're too tired to be happy. But what I showed him was that, you know, from the start to the end, fine, I was tired, but what never went away is my smile. So from the
yeah,
start to
you always
end,
smiled, bro.
yeah, my smile was always there. He says you will never be able to smile at the end. No, I was always smiling. I was telling him, you know what? Didn't beat me this time.
Bro, is there any, like along the journey, is there any part that you want to go back? Like, you know, like, oh, shit, I regret. I didn't,
Regret in the trip?
Yeah, during the trip, like, is there any part that, I've gone too far. Like, I don't think I can make it.
No, because I really pushed myself and I was really expecting it. Prior to going there, I wasn't sure if I could.
Expected the worst.
Yeah, I expected the worst. Exactly. Yeah, you have to. I expected the worst. I think the regret. No, because every extreme thing, every extreme option that was available to me at the time, I took.
Wow.
Yeah. So there was also a time where when we went to the last village, which is Gorakshep is the name of the village. And it's pretty cool too. The tea house that we were staying in had no running water.
Oh.
They were collecting snow and ice from outside and
then
putting
melting
it in drums and and melting it. And that's what you use to flush the toilet. And you know, it doesn't choose white, brown, pink, yellow. Everybody uses the same freaking toilet. And everybody has to flush with this like drum with the moss and so it's really nice. But what I was saying was when we went there and we headed to Everest Base Camp, the Everest Base Camp, the signage is a big rock that says Everest Base Camp that they vandalized before I went there. The guide said, "Do you want to go to the actual base camp where the tents are?" Where to see the preparation, the whole team, because my team is there.
Okay.
And they're waiting for the climbers to arrive, but they're preparing. So I had to go another extra hour to go in, and it was so tiring because of the elevation. And then, but then you see this magic, man. You see the Khumbu glaciers where they practice and collect water. You see the tents, and the tents are more comfortable than our tea houses. Like when we went there, can I stay here? Because they have heaters, they have radiators, and they have unlimited food. Man, do you know how much it cost to
no
reach
idea, bro.
Everest Base Camp? The summit?
It would be expensive, bro.
Apart from the experience, right? Of experience you have to get climbing mountains. The minimum is around 40 to 60,000 US dollars.
Oh my God.
And it's a 2-month, expedition, 2-month expedition. Yeah, so, but it was so appealing when we were there. Anyway, so now you get tired, right?
Yeah.
But you head there and then you go back again, you go up, you go back to your tea house. And then the guide said, at that point, I was really tired because I walked for maybe 5 hours, 6 hours at that point. says, are you ready to reach the sunset and go to Kalapatar, the peak, and then see the whole Himalayan mountain range, including Everest? I say, okay, we'll try. And then we woke up at 4:30, 4 o'clock. And from 4 o'clock, we headed to the mountain. And we were like, I had 4 layers of jackets in me. I have four layers of pants.
Same brief. Same brief, bro.
Yes, same underwear. Hey, I'm not ashamed, bro. You think I'm worried about what you think? I went to Everest Base Camp. I don't care.
Exactly.
And then I reached we climbed very slowly because you're at 5,000 meters already.
Yeah.
And at that point, you have to be very slow when you climb. And that's what they taught. That's what he taught me. He said, you need to maintain your heart rate. You can't spike it.
Really?
Yeah. So you can't, because what I was doing when I was acclimatizing in one of the peaks, I was like, I'll do 100 steps. 1, 2, 3. And then by the end of the 100 steps, I'll rest. And I was like, and then he came to me and he says, that's not the right way. You need to take it really, really slow and make sure that your heart doesn't spike. You could have a heart attack by doing that.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're constantly monitoring your
checking.
heart rate.
I was making sure that it was a solid 130, which was okay. My body's used to 130. But Kalapatar is nice because the good thing that we didn't, the beauty of climbing it at 4 a.m. is that you couldn't see the top. So you couldn't get scared. You couldn't get intimidated. Once you start seeing it, my God, it's so far. But then, by then, when there's daylight, you see where you came from and you're halfway and you start, hey, maybe I could do this. Because maybe around 5% of the climbers only reach Kalapatar because it's a tiring climb. But when you're there, you're rewarded by the views of the Himalayas. Man, that's such an amazing sight, such an amazing experience. I thought I'd get frostbite because I only had 2 socks and I was wearing the wrong shoes. But I pulled it through.
And I saw the pictures. You're very happy. You even have our Philippine flag.
Yeah.
You're very proud, You're one of the...
I thought I was the only Filipino guy there. So I was confident. I was telling my wife and everybody that I'm gonna be the tallest and most handsome Filipino guy in Everest Base Camp for today.
Yeah.
And then I saw 4 people that are taller and more handsome than me. So I
Filipinos.
Filipinos. Yeah, 1 from Qatar and 2 from the States, I think. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 2 from
Oh,
the
shit,
States.
man.
So,
I mean, anyway, there's still an accomplishment. It's a huge accomplishment. Just going to the base camp alone. It's something that I don't think I will ever experience because it's not just my thing. Climbing. I mean, maybe in the future, let's see. But right now, I don't see myself doing that.
Right.
But
well, you can do it the easy way, but the expensive way, like you do a helicopter trip.
Oh,
You rent a
possible?
helicopter. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They do helicopters there, but also for rescues. Like there were people that are being rescued. Like when as we were heading down from Kalapatar, there was like 5 to 6 helicopters that are flying down to collect people who are either so sick, super injured, or just plain tired. Like they just have the money to go home. Yeah.
Okay, so are you going for the summit in the near future?
No, but what I want to try and learn how to climb. So there are 2 peaks there that I was told that I could manage. So I might do that next year. Yeah, during Eid.
Yeah, because Everest is expensive, bro. Like $40,000 to $60,000. I don't think I can afford, bro.
I mean, and that's just one way. No, I'm kidding.
Oops, you don't have enough money. Stay there. Yeah. You'll be a landmark. Maybe we'll make sure that we'll make sure you'll be a landmark.
Yeah, we'll have a nice name. A memorial. Yeah, but Everest is. I could see the appeal because the joy that it brings you, the fulfillment, the clarity also when you're trekking outdoors. It's extraordinary. It's a very spiritual experience. I'm not gonna be ashamed to say this, but the last time I cried was when I was seeing the sunrise in one of the mountains. It's like watching God paint, and you see the bluish mountain turn into these shades of orange, red, and yellow. and you just start to see the beauty of the mountain, and it's like seeing the ultimate creator creating and
got it.
painting, you know.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh, bro, that's just one story, bro.
That's just one story.
That's one
yes.
story. Yeah, are you ready to?
Oh, there's also something that happened
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
I told you I have 6 hours. Let's go.
Okay.
So on the way back, when we reached Lukla,
Yeah.
on the 12th day, let's fast forward. We were supposed to ride a plane to head back to Kathmandu. The weather was so bad. How the visibility was zero. This was the storm. There was a monsoon that came in suddenly,
Okay.
and that made it difficult for the other trekkers that are already, in the middle of their journey. But we were on the way back, so we were not affected by the weather. But the flights were grounded, even the helicopters.
Ooh.
Yeah, even the helicopters are grounded, so you can't rent a helicopter to take you out. You can't ride the plane. So the guide said, "You know what? I think we need to do it by land." And I said, "Really?" Because I wanted to get a tattoo in Kathmandu.
Yeah.
So I said, what do you mean? How long does it take? Well, we're gonna head down now. If we do it now, we're gonna walk towards the bottom of the mountain, which is around 1 hour.
Yeah.
And then from there, we ride a Jeep. The Jeep will go through the mountains. I think we passed through 3 mountains. Mountain roads, too, for 7 hours. And then you stop at a town where you spend the night, a non-touristy town. It's a non-touristy town. And then from there, you drive another 10 hours to head to Kathmandu. And I said, "Do we have a choice?" He says, "It's not. You'll miss your flight if we wait for this to
So you
clear."
missed your flight.
No, if we waited
Yeah,
for the
okay,
planes.
okay, got it.
So as we were heading down 30 minutes down, the sky cleared, and I said, "Motherfucker." And he says, no, just be cool.
Yeah.
And it turns out in the middle when we were traveling, we saw the part that's full of fog. So even though it cleared up from the airport, the planes really couldn't fly because of the fog. So
Still a good decision. No?
it was an adventure too. We lived like a local I did. I had the full local experience for
Oh my God.
for one whole day. Yeah.
That's good, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a story.
Yeah, again, that's just one story. Okay, so are you ready for the next one? Yeah.
What story do
Yeah?
we want?
Yeah,
Do we
yeah.
want
Yeah, bro, extraordinary, bro. Any?
Okay, now
Yeah.
this is physical travel.
Okay.
Trekking, right?
Okay.
You go from one physical place to another. How about we go from one dimension to another?
Ooh, I remember the story, bro. I remember the story. Guys, if you believe in extraterrestrial, not extraterrestrial, what's the right term?
I don't know.
Spirit-
Other dimensions.
Other dimensions.
Spiritual
Yes,
level or something.
true.
Spiritual plane. Yeah.
Guys, I've heard the story. I went to Ram's house, and you just came from this country, and I was like, I was blown away by this story. And I mentioned this to my friends, and my friends even heard the story.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, they're not believing the story, but when I heard the story from you, I was like, man, it might be true. You know, all of these things might be true. So yeah, I'm ready to hear this story again, and for sure, guys, you will be blown away by the story. Okay.
So let's go to a little country in South America called Peru.
Peru. Ooh,
Yeah, Peru.
Yeah, Peru.
It's our first South American country because South America is too far and too expensive from Dubai. You know, it's a 33-hour flight. 3 planes, I think we did to reach the place. And of course, a lot of money, you know.
Sure.
So what we did was from here, we went to Brazil, Sao Paulo. And from Sao Paulo, we went to the capital of Peru, which is Lima. And from Lima, we took another plane going to Cusco.
Okay.
Cusco is the one of the more, ancient, more popular places in Peru, but it's also home to, I don't know. When I went there, I felt connected immediately. It's like there's this spirit that's connecting with you. So I'm gonna skip the hiking. I'm gonna skip the trekking. Let's skip the Machu Picchu, and let's talk about this medicinal brew that they call ayahuasca. Have you heard of ayahuasca prior to?
No.
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 Ayahuasca means, I think, vine of death.
Okay.
All right. And for I don't know, hundreds or thousands of years. Imagine, bro, in the Amazon, right? Amazon, how many plants do you think there are in the Amazon?
Billions, probably.
Billions, millions, right?
Yeah.
Imagine that there are two types of plants, one vine and one like leaf, that when you combine it, transports you to a different dimension.
Wow.
For them, they're saying that it's kind of, affects your brain. So they're saying it's psychedelic. They're saying it's no different from weed.
Okay.
But here's the argument here. Ayahuasca, when the brew that is produced from these two leaves, they've studied 2,500 people, and this is an actual study, university study. 2,500 people they've studied who've taken the active ingredient in ayahuasca, which is DMT.
Okay.
They reported the same experiences, visiting the same world, meeting the same creatures, and having the same feelings and sensations. So my question is, if it's just similar to weed and all of these psychedelic, why is there like a shared universe that they access when they take this brew? So my contention is it's either we're being transported to a different level of consciousness, or in our core, this is what I've read as well, in the core of our DNA, we're accessing a shared experience from our ancestors. That's why we're having the same experience, Maybe at its core, at the DNA, it's tapping into memories, maybe. Because we're all having, those 2,500 people have had the same experience. And so you don't go there just to take it recreationally. It's considered to be medicinal. And so you have to be sure that you're doing it for that purpose. Like you have to have intent. You have to have a reason why you want to do it. You can't just go there and say, I want to try it. No, you can't, because it's intense. Because what happened before was there are shamans in tribes, right? What happens is if you're a sick person in the tribe, you come to the shaman, for example, I'm the shaman. I create the brew and then I drink it and then I go on a journey.
Okay.
And when I come back, I will give you the medicine for your illness.
Ooh.
That was before, but now they're allowing you to take ayahuasca as well. So you're going on a journey together with the shaman. This is yeah.
All right, just want to clarify because I think you failed to mention. So when you take this medicine or whatever ayahuasca, once you take it, will you go on a sleeping state, or are you going to, or will you? Because I think you forgot to mention.
Yes. So what happens is let's talk about the ceremony. The ceremony is you're in a cot.
Okay.
So like for us, there were 5 of us. And there you lie in a cot, and there's a bucket.
Okay.
And then some tissues. And then there's the shaman, and there are 2 assistants. One is a nurse and one is, an English speaking, point person. That's my experience. And we did it in the heart of the Sacred Valley. So you're in the Sacred Valley, which is, very important and very notable in Cusco. So you lie in that. But before you do that, there are a lot of things that you have to do. You have to make sure that your body is ready for it. You have to submit a medical certificate because it's like torture. It's like your body is being tortured. Okay. Number 2, you have to abstain from certain things 1 to 2 weeks before you go on the retreat. So what you do is you avoid meat, caffeine, sweets, chocolate, sex, masturbation. Oh, bro, that's not for you. I can tell. And some other stuff, fat, and so on. And then on the day before you go to the retreat house, someone will go to you, to your hotel, with volcanic water. That it's 8 liters of volcanic water that you have to drink. And what it does is it purges your body. Like it empties your bowels. The color of the water eventually that was coming out of my body as poop.
Yeah.
If 10 is the mud consistency and 1 is Evian, it's probably a solid 4.
Oh.
So it's kind of like clear and white and So it means you're detoxed, and then you go to the ayahuasca, and then you go to the retreat house. So you lie in bed. The shaman does this ceremony, like spits perfume on your face and like smokes tobacco all over the hall to protect against the evil spirits. That's what he's saying. And then you lie down in bed, and then he gives you a shot of this brew. So he pours it to you, and then he gives the signal, and then you drink it.
Okay.
Now you're supposed to let go and get into the whole experience. But as humans, you crave to have a certain level of control, right? So I kept my watch.
Okay.
That's the only control that I have. So I was closing my eyes, 5 minutes, nothing's happening. 10 minutes, nothing's happening. Close my eyes. Until on the 20th minute, you feel something change. You hear this looking like this. And then things start to happen. When you open your eyes, the environment changes. Like you're looking at the environment, but it's different. It's moving.
You mean you're awake?
You're awake. Yeah, you're awake. You're awake. You see like the door is like a guitar string, for example. The windows are moving. You see all of these patterns. And then when you close your eyes, something happens as well. You see a different pattern as well.
So you go into this hallucination state.
Yeah. You go into the state where you hallucinate. And then you're in and out of consciousness. And then every now and then, you would vomit, you would puke. Your body will not take it, and then will try to puke. And then what it does is, here's what it does. The part of the brain that manages the whole brain, that is the one responsible for control.
Yeah.
It deactivates. It like dies down. And then the rest of the part of the brain hyperactivate. And they start, this movement. And so what happens is the synapses start hitting each other, so that regions of the brain that don't talk to each other start hitting and start communicating. And so you get this feeling that you're tasting the color red. You're touching the chant of the shaman. You're starting to have these sensations because these parts don't usually communicate. It's chaos now. It's chaos in your brain. You're losing control. And to the point where I could feel that the shaman was chanting. I could feel the vibration of his chants. To the point when he went very close to me, I felt that the chants were starting to do something in my bowels, and then I start to puke again. And then you start to see these patterns. And then you go on a journey. And then you go on there. From there, you are in and out of consciousness. You are trying and struggling to stay in control, but at the same time, you're going somewhere. And what happens is you have these intents. Remember, you're not doing this for fun. So you need to have a reason why you're doing it. I'll tell you one intent. Yeah, prior to going there, it came to a point where I stopped believing in the divine. I stopped believing in God. I felt that there's nothing there. And that's huge for me because since I was born, I was really religious. Like I was brought up in a Christian household. I was really into church. And so when I disregarded the concept of God, it's like my whole life has been discarded. And I felt really lost. I felt really down. I felt really depressed. That was a source of depression for me. And that's why I decided to go there. Because when I found out some people started believing in God after that's one of my intent.
Yeah.
And when I went there, I started in the middle, it's a 5-hour trip. In the middle of this trip, I found myself speaking to a being of light. Right? Because one of my intent was I want to connect my spirit, or I want to speak to God. So I found myself inside the being of light. And I told that being, I don't believe in you. And you know what? He just leaned back. That's the sensation. He leaned back and he was laughing. And like he doesn't care. You know what he said? Then don't. it doesn't change who I am. And don't worry, because you're exactly where you are. You're exactly where you need to be. It's okay. Don't believe in me. It's fine. You're exactly where you need to be. You're supposed to have this. You're supposed to be in this state. And so I felt like I met the most secure God in the world. Think about it. Every religion will have some conditions.
True.
Right? Like you have to believe, you have to do this, you have to do that. Otherwise, your God will not be with you. But that being that I spoke to didn't care. He says, it doesn't matter. I know you. I know you. It doesn't change who I am. I know you, and you're exactly where you need to be. And so that first night, I was filled with this experience of being validated, because my problem also was anxiety. So at that time, I kept being showered with positive feelings of love, validation, and affirmation. Someone was keeping on telling me right from the beginning, you're amazing. You're excellent. You're exactly where you need to be. You don't need to worry about anything. This is where you should belong. And you're so imagine all of that at a level, a love and acceptance and unconditional, affirmation I've never felt in my whole life. And I was being filled with that feeling of love on the first night. That's the sensation that I was getting as I was going through the visions. Someone was affirming, and telepathically, you don't hear the voice. Telepathically, someone was affirming me. And my wife was with me. She didn't take the Aya because she has a heart condition, so she didn't take it. So she was observing it. And what I want to turn to her and tell her that I'm all right. I'm doing great. So I turned to her. I wanted to turn to her. The voice in my head kept saying, it's fine. She'll be there. Go, explore. She will be there. You see the experience just from lying down. So that's what's happening in my head. And I start seeing these patterns. I start seeing Egyptian hieroglyphs. I don't know. I don't know where that came from. I started seeing this person that looks like Ant-Man. He would show up. He's an insect man, and he would just be in different poses and stuff. I saw this head of a bird, all of these. While I was all of that, I was being filled with positive feelings.
Wow.
All the while every so often, my body would jerk, and I would have this sudden urge to vomit. And so that's what was happening. It was tough. It was 5 hours, I think. And
I mean, guys, I'm literally frozen right now. I can't speak. I'm just absorbing all the incredible stories. I'm literally getting chills right now.
Yeah,
you know.
It was really an experience that. And you don't know what to expect, because the other companions that I have that are with me, they're having a different experience. They were having bad experiences on the first night. On that first night, I was the only person who was having this amazing experience with the Aya, communicating with the medicine,
Why do you think so? Why not all the people having the same kind of experience?
So the shaman said, I'm very well connected. I think because for me, growing up, I was really into spirituality. I was really into church. So maybe that's a version of me that was there, and that was familiar. The guide the shaman even said, I have a feeling you can even be a shaman. That's what he said the next day, So that was fun. But while I was speaking to that being, the being of light, the shaman told me the next day that he saw me speaking to a man with a crown seated on a throne, and that person gave me a gold cup to reward me. And then when he came in to investigate, the person said, we're just finished. And then he left. So that was his vision as I was having that conversation with that being. That was the first night. 5 hours. There's so much. A lot of it still goes back to me every now and then. As a matter of fact, it's connected. After a few months, we went to Egypt. Did I tell you this?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
I went to Egypt. Randomly, my wife said in November, we went there. She says, why don't we go in December to Egypt? Because we're visa on arrival there. Okay, let's go. Had no plans of going to Egypt prior to when we were in Peru. When we were visiting the Valley of the Kings, you know, where the tombs of the pharaohs are, the ancient artworks on the wall we were staring at. And then I suddenly started like shaking my wife's hand. I said, "What's wrong? You see that?
Same
You see those two? Yeah, those are the two those are the two that I've encountered during my ayahuasca session.
Oh, wow.
And it turns out one is Horus and one is Thoth, an ibis, a god with an ibis head. And it's freaky because why would it come up? I wouldn't know. I don't know any. Why didn't Jesus show up? You know, if it's just subconscious.
Yes.
So there's something that's connecting me, I feel, to Egypt. You know, something like that. And
Guys, ancient aliens confirmed.
right? They report, and I started researching it. They actually encounter Egyptian gods. Some people encounter Egyptian gods during their ayahuasca session. It's just surprising because, okay, the nurse also in the ayahuasca sessions, when you vomit, what the nurse does is there's a big condor feather that is sprinkled with perfume. And what happens is the nurse who's wearing a mask, like a normal mask, as you're vomiting, she's waving the feather in front of you so you smell the aroma of the perfume and hopefully it stops you from puking. So as she was doing that, this was on the second night, I looked at her and her face, her head was the head of the bird, which turned out to be Thoth. When that I saw when I learned when I went to Egypt.
Wow.
And I don't know how they are connected. So there's a lot of mysterious things that are happening also in the brain that we haven't tapped, I feel.
Yeah, and then what fascinates me is, as you said, like there are a lot of people who tried it and it was tested and they managed to see basically the same things inside this realm or whatever. And that's freaky, bro.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And then there's this lady that's with me. There's a mother and daughter from Ukraine.
Yeah.
That lives in Germany. So they went there. Imagine a mother and daughter. The daughter was in her 20s, the mother was in her 40s. The mother was screaming nonstop for 5 hours. And then when we spoke to her the next day, she's saying, all of the people that mattered in my life were in front of me. And all the hurt that I gave them, the curses, the jokes, the cruel jokes, the words, all came back to me all at the same time. You know, so all of it came back to her, and she's feeling all that pain collectively, you know, and she was shouting for 5 hours nonstop. And then, okay, that's very interesting. What about you, daughter? What happened to you? And the daughter was saying, well, I saw the goddess. Like I found myself in a field and I saw this goddess. She was the only one who saw the goddess as a female, you know, ayahuasca as a goddess. And when I saw the goddess, I started telling stuff about my life. Saying, this is my life and this is me. And then the goddess was not interested, stopped her and says, I don't care. I don't like to hear about you. You're boring. Let's talk about your mom.
Wow.
Wow. Exactly. Man. And then we said, okay, what did you say about your mom? And then the daughter says, she's here. I'd rather not share it. She's beside me. I'd rather not. You know. So these are really very interesting experiences. And then what's the saddest is that we have a person who, if probably, you know, out of the four of us, needs to be healed the most. Like she's very down. She's very sad. Things are happening in her life that, you know, she's not happy with. Nothing happened to her on the first day. And she was crying so hard. So anyway, that's the
man.
first night.
I wonder how they managed to discover these plants, bro.
Amazing, right? Amazing. I
like out of millions or even billions of plants in Amazon. How they managed to combine two plants? Are you talking about two species or just two random plants?
Two different plants. Yeah,
two different species.
Yeah, two different plants. One is a vine even.
Yeah.
And one is a tree from a tree or something. Or a plant. You know, so
Yeah.
it's two different things. How did they manage to do that?
And what were they even thinking?
Exactly.
What were
You
they
know?
thinking? Imagine the story, like
Yeah.
how they come up with these plans. Like what were they thinking? Like, it's the same like the first person who thought of milking cow. What were they thinking, bro?
What were you
Same
thinking?
thing.
Yeah,
Exactly, bro.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like,
What triggered you to do
exactly.
that?
Or what were you thinking?
Yeah.
To think about, mixing two plants and then hallucinating, man.
Yeah.
Crazy, bro.
It was intense. That's a crazy travel experience.
Okay, I mean that's extra ordinary, man. And
very.
again, this is why you're here, you're back again because you have these incredible stories, man. And man, you never fail to impress me with your travel stories. man.
I love coming back. You know, I love sharing stories.
Yeah.
You know it. I love to
True.
tell stories. Specifically those that I've experienced. And it's really these things I'm sharing because I find them really awesome as well from my
Got it.
end. You know.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah. I
wrap
think
up?
there are a lot. There are a lot of stories to be
Yeah.
honest with you, but
Cool.
I know that I'll save them for the next time.
Exactly. I see.
Because I want to be
yeah.
back.
See. For sure you'll be back again. Even though I don't like, but for sure you'll be back again in the.
I know this place now, so I can just show
exactly.
up. You know.
And for sure you'll be traveling a lot more, and then
Yeah.
you'll be sharing a lot more extraordinary travel stories. So yeah, I mean, I'll be happy to have you back again.
Yeah, man. Let's have these conversations. It's fun.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward for which are your next adventure, next plan.
It's not gonna be extraordinary. It's just gonna be it's not just traveling is a privilege.
Yeah, exactly.
We get to go to New York this coming Eid, the long Eid.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My
Oh,
wise
my-
idea. Yeah.
Oh my God! I mean, I wanna go.
So
to
from
Europe.
the mountains, we're going to the concrete jungle.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Ram, is there anyone you promote? Is there anything you want to mention to your followers? Your comedy skits, comedy. Whatever?
Well, just would like to let you know. Number one, I'm using if you're interested, Universal Audio SD1. It's available everywhere. SD1. You know, if you like the sound, you might want to try it out. Reach out to me. Check out my socials. Is it here? Is it somewhere here? You'll be putting it here. My social is here. Yeah, visit me. I have a couple of socials. Sama ka, and then I do radio for Tag 91.1 for all the Filipinos out there. I'm Andy Sal. I do the weekend show 5 to 8 p.m. every Saturday and Sunday. I also do stand-up comedy. I'm a budding stand-up comedian. Look at the face, right? It's just naturally funny. So I'm doing some open mics. So check out my stories on Samaka and on Andy Sal.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see you there and roast me when you see me there.
Exactly,
Yeah.
bro. More power to you, and good luck to your future travels.
Thank you so much, bro.
We'll be back.
Yeah. And I really appreciate the time that you spent with me now, letting me just yak and yak with all of these stories.
I appreciate it, man. See you soon, bro. See you soon. All right.
Ciao.